Hello everyone, greetings of the day. This is 𝐒𝐄𝐈𝐀, an IELTS expert from PW IELTS and TOEFL Prep. As we all know that we have shown you so many success stories, and one of them today with us is Shruti Shovan, who has scored 8 out of 9 in the IELTS test. So over to you, Shruti. I would want you to introduce yourself and tell us what made you think of taking IELTS.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being my teacher. And hello, everyone. I'm Shruti Shovan from Kolkata. So I did score 8 bands in IELTS Academic recently, around September 14th. So I have taken IELTS preparation from Physics Wala. 3 modules were under Love Sir. That is the listening, reading, and writing ones. And Divya ma'am helped me with the speaking part. So yeah, I think that taking IELTS from Physics Wala has been actually very helpful in terms of a strategic way of studying. You can get a lot of resources online, but it's sometimes too overwhelming. So once you have someone who has been there, done that, especially with the trainers, experienced trainers like Love Sir and all, they help to guide you better in that respect. And I think that has been really helpful. I mean, you have seen the results. Thank you, sir.
Great, great. Right, right. So one of the major challenges whenever we prepare for any exam, Shruti, remains about time management, right? So what was your strategy to manage your time effectively, and what amount of time did you give to your preparation if we consider one day?
Mm, okay, thank you, sir. I think that's a very important question that all of us should address even before starting the course, I think, because you have to allot a particular amount of time every day consistently, and this includes Saturdays, Sundays, because trust me, this is just a one-time thing. If you can get your desired band score, this time slot will be free from some other task again. So again, I was a student. I had a little bit more time to give in for the preparation for professionals. I think the class hours, that time that you have to book that slot for sure. But the amount of time, I think it's at least you just have to give 1 hour extra for the homeworks and also revision. You can do that for 30 minutes. But for the homeworks, I mean, the DPPs that you get, I think 1 hour is enough. In fact, it will take less for some tasks like speaking. You can do maybe 2 or 3 in an hour if you want to just take your time to analyze the answers and all. Thank you, sir.
Mhm. Right, right, right. And a very important question. What was your personal preparation strategy which has helped you to reach this 8 out of 9 score?
Thank you, sir. Well, I would say that my personal secret was just doing the DPPs on time, just never neglecting that. Okay, the speaking ones, there were a lot of topics to practice, so I just had to choose. But if I talk about listening or reading or writing, especially, there was no one that I was skipping. I was doing everything, and that means submitting all of them on time before class so that I get that feedback before I move on to some other topic on writing, maybe that I am yet to learn. So I would say that you have to be consistent on delivery, and you have to book the exam a little bit in a month of so of the end of your physics wala training, so that you don't get that delay or get into that mood of relaxing. You don't want to do that. This is a one time thing. I mean, once you clear this is valid for 2 years. You can take a rest for 2 years. So I think, yeah, you have to give a commitment to yourself of
Right, right,
consistency. That works more than maybe one day 7 hours, one day no study at all. No.
right. Correct, correct. Properly, like totally aligned with this concept, whichever you have put forward. So, apart from the time management and talking out a personal strategy which helps you and which fits into the requirements of student, whatever you are as a student, there are many other struggles which we face as a student when we are preparing for the tests or examinations. So, what were your struggles which you were coming across, and how did you cope with them? How did you keep yourself motivated along those times? What was your strategy?
Sure. Well, I think you have to lead a balanced life. I mean, even aside of your applications, university shortlisting, or maybe even choosing the country that you want to go, maybe the subject, the cities that where you can find opportunities while you are studying or after you graduating. You do things like not all at the same time, but you just divide your task into subtasks. Just like for with respect to the training, you start with the speaking, then you go with the listening or reading, and then writing respectively. So you have to sort out your tasks, and definitely not all studying, because all work and play makes Jack a dull boy. So you have to, I would say that to relieve your stress, you do have to work out and have a social life, have as much as exposure to the language that you're giving your exam in. If you have someone that, maybe for example, you come from a neighborhood where you do not have that much exposure to English. Maybe you're from a tier 2 or tier 3 city and you are going to appear for the exam. So as much as you can practice with some of your friends who are good at English, maybe someone who has been abroad or who has given the exam. So I think you just have to practice out that part. To relieve the stress, you do something that you love. And with respect to the exam, if you love the exam in a way, with things that make you what you are, like if I'm an extrovert, so I like talking, so the speaking module was especially very easy for me. So I think that's how you relieve the stress. Some of the problems that I face personally, I lost my grandmother, I mean, around that time. And yeah, I mean, the thing is that this is personal, but yeah, she knew what I was doing. I do have a story, but maybe not in the podcast. But yeah, I mean, she believed in me. So again, personal belief, I would say you have to commit to what you are going to achieve. Like, even
Hmm.
if the struggles come in, nothing is permanent. I mean, good times and bad times, both. So you just have to believe in yourself. And yeah, this is just the starting of your problems, really, because once you go abroad, real problems can get even more.
True, true. In some sense, I agree totally. Uh, Out of all the modules, Shruti, so there was listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So I quite knew that you were very good at speaking. But what were your struggles with other modules? So was there any specific module which you found difficult?
Yes, sir. I think that would be a majority of us would answer the writing module, especially task one, because you
Hmm.
are more into analytical stuff in there. So yeah, I mean, although task one has less weightage, but it can be somewhat of a factor which can pull down your grades. For example, you can score a task 2 7 band, but if you are getting task one 6.5, your band will not be 7. So yeah, you have to be as good as both of them. Like, you have to be good in both. So I think the way I overcame this was with practice. Maybe you don't get that much of personal feedback during the classes because you have many others and you have to submit, and you get the feedback, especially on email. There is no live interaction on that part. But I must especially mention that after the classes, once you have the exams, you always stay in touch with your coordinators and you get a personalized feedback session. I mean, not one, there are multiple, to especially highlight those things that are maybe not that are
Not
not really
universal,
that
but are very specific to the student. Yeah.
it's more customized in that way. For example, I got a lot of help for many of my task one and two submissions related to writing, especially.
Mm-hmm. And what was your favorite module?
Favorite module was definitely speaking, because
Because
it's just,
I like to speak, right?
yeah, because it's easy. Because it's easy. I don't have to
Yeah.
read anything. It's just me being me. Maybe just that duration part, I just have to keep that in mind. You have to speak for 2 minutes, and don't have to answer in like 2 or 3 lines, even if you don't know. So just extend
Hmm.
it a bit.
Correct, correct, correct. So I clearly remember, Shruti, when you were making your writing submissions, there were many areas which you could have worked on in a better way and you could have reached to that good score. But in the final, that now you have scored 7.5 in your writing. So how did you do that? And because there are many students who really do not get the desired band score, specifically in writing. So, what suggestions would you like to make to those students who are uh, lagging somewhere in their writing and are not able to cope with the writing part?
Sure. I think many of us can relate with that. So I always had this imposter syndrome that my writing is not good enough. I mean, it happens with all of us in all areas of life, I guess. I mean, if I were to check my copy, I won't give myself 7 bands. So it's again, I got more confident because you were the better judge there. So it helped, that support and confidence and feedback that helped. In terms of
Hmm.
writing task, I think you have to spend a little bit of time in the planning phase. It just makes it a bit easier. In fact, if you have a problem solving knack or ability, task two is your area to shine. You just have to take it as a problem and break it into small parts, and how are you going to address each part of it. So that modular approach, that is going to have, you don't have to focus on the whole task two at one go. You focus on the introduction first, then you go for the body one, body two, in some cases body three, then you go to the conclusion. So that aim of cohesion and coherence that you can aim to achieve in all of those paragraphs, that is something that you should always consciously bear in mind, and also practice, practice, and practice a lot, because you will always have less time during the exam. I do not really revise after the checking. I revise while I'm doing the thing. So
Yeah,
my
that's what
approach
I
is
liked
like
about
that.
your writing approach.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So as I said that there are many students who do not really get into the desired band scores when it comes to writing specifically. For those who are appearing for the second time, maybe to just overcome their writing scores or to achieve those desired band scores in writing, what would you suggest to those students who are reappearing in the exam?
Okay. Okay. If I would like, because I don't have any experience on that, because I never reappeared to improve one particular band. So in that respect, I would take two cases. One is the computer-based test, and then is the pen and paper. If you are not good at typing and you just failed because you were not able to finish the answer on time, so I think it is better to choose the pen and paper test from the first, because we are more accustomed to it. Same for pen and paper test. It's just, if you are more comfortable with that, I would definitely recommend with that. Now with the reappearing part, if you remember the question, then that is very well and good. Otherwise, you can see the related questions and to specifically focus on those areas where you lack. And then, of course, have a discussion with your coordinators out there on email, or maybe watch some videos. Because you have more time to focus on one module, I think, excuse me, you just have to focus more on practicing and addressing those areas where there were your weak points. Yeah, where your weak points were. Because if your
Hmm.
strong points, you don't really need to, like it. Maybe if you're good at handwriting, then it's well and good. Maybe you're good at finishing on time, that's also well and good, but you can't connect well. So I guess, yeah, the more you read other people's writing, maybe 7 band writings, that is also a good way to really, think, like take one paragraph at a time, maybe like 2 minutes, and see how they have joined the two ideas. You have to join the dots from the
Hmm.
starting to the start. Or maybe even have this goal in mind, that even if someone writes the answer and task, because I'm just quoting your words, you said this in class, that even if you read the text backwards, you can make a
Yeah,
full sense out. So I
exactly.
think you have to remember those parts in mind, and you just have to read more and practice more. It just gets easier with in terms of nervousness. Once you appear for an exam second time, it just improves in your confidence.
At least
Happened for
there is
me.
no anxiety. Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah, the anxiety reduces because my previous IELTS expired. I got 7.5. And now when I was going in for IELTS again, so I was accustomed, even with the place, even with the environment, how things go. It was like, yeah, I've been there, done that, and now I know just how to improve. So again, I got a zero point 0.5 band improvement. So that's something. That's something.
Correct, correct. And what about the strategies which you would like to share, or any suggestions which you would like to quote for the students who are appearing in the test for the first time?
For the first time. Well, it is very easy to really face that block while you're speaking, So it is going to happen very often to majority of people who are not that confident about speaking. If you're an introvert, it just makes it worse in front of a stranger, maybe in a chilled room. That so you have to speak up, and you have to know that this is an exam and no one is going to judge you on this. There is no judgment really. There is no qualification or ranking that is going to judge you. So you just do as much as you can score, so that it just proves that you're able to communicate for your future. And for the other modules, it just you have to focus a lot on reading and listening. You should try and practice a lot again and again. I must say that because my strategies were also a bit different than some of the ones that were taught in class. For example, in reading, I do not go from answer to question. I read the whole passage. I get the gist, then I attempt. I just know where the answers are because that much information. It's easy for me to remember. So if you start reading more, then it will get easier. In my last task of reading, task three, it was extremely difficult, and I never even imagined that I was going to cross seven bands because I thought that task three was going to fail me badly. But my approach was different, and that really saved me in that task. The complicated paragraph that I read, I knew the gist of it. I was just answering on the base of it. Maybe one or two of the MCQs, especially the final section, I was answering directly with marking by pencil, but otherwise I was not able to find the paragraphs. And that's where I use my power of like remembering, having a gist, understanding the concept. It was related to teacher training and how to address the gap to make students better. So good teachers, good students, like that. So that really helps. So just try out things on your own, learn more, listen to everyone, but then follow your own strategy. That's the thing. You just have to talk.
Yeah,
Unless you try, you never know.
completely. Correct, correct, correct. Completely aligned with this thing because there is nothing which fits all, and you have to figure it out that what fits you as a
Yeah.
student, right? So I think we have
Yeah.
talked about every module now, reading, listening, writing, and thank you for sharing your personal strategy with the students, which might help them to be better, a bit better in the reading module. What about
Yeah.
listening? Let's just have a bit discussion on the listening as well.
Yeah, sure. Well, for listening, you have an abundance of resources available on YouTube, as well as you're going to get the DPPs. So yeah, even if the links of audios go missing on the DPP, no need to worry. You just can do practice with the YouTube. So yeah,
Yeah.
on YouTube you get a lot of stuff, and even if you listen, maybe not get all of them right on the first attempt, you just have to keep listening and you just have to practice, and definitely try to do with headphones that is going to simulate the same environment that you're going to have the exam in. I don't know, but in Kolkata we had this headphone of muffed ones.
Mhm.
So yeah, if you can try with that, it just mimics and you are just in that zone again, in full concentration. You have to be very much conscious of what you're hearing. And yeah, it's you have to be very conscious because if the train leaves, there's no way to catch. So yeah,
Correct, correct, correct. I completely understand that thing. So it was really good to have you here, Shruti. And
thank
thank
you.
you so much for sharing your valuable insights. I'm pretty much sure that somewhere someone would be able to relate with them and they'll be getting some sort of help out of whatever we have discussed. So, my last question to you would be that how would you, I would say, rate your IELTS experience, not just the preparation, not just the exam giving, about overall your IELTS experience.
The IELTS experience as a whole, I think I would give it a solid 9 because you can't get a 10. Getting
Yeah,
perfect on everything is not possible. I think it's a
exactly.
solid 9. Maybe sometimes, and this 9, maybe I would deduct almost zero point 0.5 because
Mm,
I was just not able to score that much desired score in terms of the speaking. I don't
mm.
know why that happened, but there are
Even I don't
things
know
that are
that.
beyond you. Yeah,
Yeah.
there are things that are beyond your control. I got 7, but I
Hmm.
aimed really more.
Right.
And yeah, sometimes things just are not in your control. Maybe you just have you're going through some personal problem. You'll have some timing issues to reach your venue. You're on the rush. You just have to then calm down and write it. And there are a lot of stuff. But again, you
Hmm.
just have to believe in yourself because
It's just a test. Yeah.
yeah, to be very honest, this is not just an exam. This is the medium that you are going to use to build your own career from here now onwards.
Correct.
So it's very serious. I don't believe in taking shortcuts or mugging up in that respect. If you are bad or less confident in English, start
Hmm.
now. To take a few months of preparation. Just listen more, watch some TV series, yeah, listen to some podcasts, train your ears to different accents, and talk with people even if you are wrong. You have to fix your goals according to the band that you are going to achieve. So, yeah, getting 6.5, I believe that it is possible with some months of practice. Maybe a few months more, you can get 7 or even more.
Correct. 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 Properly aligned with this thing as well. So even if you have not been able to score your desired band score in speaking module, if I talk specifically, the score which you have received, it is a global benchmark, Shruti, I should say. So
Oh, okay.
getting this band score and writing 7.5 and overall 8 is truly a global benchmark, right? So
Thank you.
on this note, I would like to end this podcast. And again, I'll be seeing you on some other success story, just like Shruti, one of my dearest students, I should say. So, bye
Thanks.
bye. Take care, Shruti. God bless you. Keep learning and
Thank you, sir. Thanks
stay
a lot.
as you are always. Bye
Thank
bye.
you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Bye.